Part 43. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanchi. Chapter 422. At this time, the system voice sounded in Yejiju's mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the subsequent hidden tasks. Within half a year, become the first in the elite training camp, reward experience 50,000, and a special reward. Reminder, the host's level has been upgraded, and the current level is 38, with strength and physical strength increased by 5 each. Intelligence, spirit, and agility increased by 1 each, and have been automatically assigned to the attribute panel. Please check the details by the host yourself. Congratulations to the host for receiving a special reward once. The special reward is: the host has a chance to transform all mechanical pets once. After listening to the system's prompts, Yejiju was very happy. It was only then that he considered that in this world, because the strength of mechanical pets is too low, they cannot be summoned to play a role. I didn't expect the system to send benefits so soon. When he wanted to take a closer look at what materials were needed for the transformation, he was kicked out of the virtual space by the trial room brain. As soon as he got off the computer, Yejiju saw Luo Feng standing in front of him, with joy and envy in his eyes, but no jealousy. Seeing this, Yejiju was very satisfied with Luo Feng's attitude, as long as he didn't regard himself as an enemy. Standing up, Yejiju reached out and patted Luo Feng's shoulder, smiling and saying, "Thank you, madman, for giving in, haha. Don't worry, I'll help you with the money for the dragon blood potion." Brother, yeah, no need. No, I can do it myself." Before Luo Feng finished speaking, Yejiju interrupted him with a wave of his hand. "Okay, I will definitely help you if I say I will. Why are you talking so much nonsense?" After saying that, Yejiju added in his heart, "Who told me to rob you of your opportunity? I will feel at ease if I give you some compensation." In fact, he did it because the money in this world is really useless to him except for buying some metals. All the way out of the trial room with Luo Feng, they were greeted by the warm applause and cheers of the students. Of course, most of them were compliments to Yejiju, and Yejiju just smiled and dealt with them. Yejiju didn't plan to have too many interactions with these people in the future. Outside the crowd was Inspector Wang, the actual controller of the training camp. Seeing the two people come out, a smile appeared on his long cold face. Only he knew the reason for holding the supernova competition this time. It was nothing more than preparing for the two young people in front of him, so he naturally understood how much Hong valued these two young people. And the final result was that the two young people fought hard and defeated the God of War students with the strength of the general level, and won the first and second place in this competition, which was worthy of Hong's attention and reward for them. After waiting for the two people to come forward and bow to him respectfully, Inspector Wang did not delay, and gave the prizes of this competition to the two in front of everyone, and said a few words of encouragement and left the scene. After exchanging a few more words with the students on the scene, Yejiju and Luo Feng couldn't wait to return to Jiangnan Pavilion, because he was eager to use the rewards of this mission and competition. He also wanted to see how much these rewards would improve his strength. After hurriedly returning to Jiangnan Pavilion and saying hello to Zhaoruo and the other two, Yejiju went straight into the practice room. He sat cross-legged on the ground and took out the dragon blood potion that was very tempting to him from the box. The potion was not as big as he imagined. The dragon blood potion in front of him was in a test tube as thick as a little finger. The glass test tube was wrapped with a metal shell to prevent it from being broken and causing the potion inside to be lost. The color of the potion was bright red as fire. Thinking of what Inspector Wang had specifically told him, the use of this dragon blood potion was to apply it on the body. Yejiju took off his clothes first and opened the bottle stopper of the potion with excitement. He tipped the test tube over, and a large drop of bright red liquid dripped onto his hand. As if fearing that the potion would evaporate, Yejuju hurriedly pressed his hand with the droplets on his chest and evenly applied the liquid to his upper chest. The potion that had just been applied felt very strange. It was not as hot as he had imagined, but rather very cool. Before he could react, he suddenly realized that the skin that had been applied with the potion was burning hot as if it was burned by flames. In an instant, the pain spread all over his body. Yejuju was so painful that large drops of sweat appeared on his forehead and he almost fainted. Remember what Inspector Wang said before he left. When using the dragon blood potion, the longer you stay awake, the better the improvement will be for your body. Yejuju gritted his teeth and used his mental will to resist the piercing pain. At this moment, time seemed to pass very slowly. Anyway, Yejuju knew that the effect of the potion had not passed. The skin on his body seemed to be torn apart. Every time the pain came, it was as uncomfortable as being cut into pieces. Time passed slowly, and an hour later, Yejuju finally resisted the pain of the potion's transformation of his body. Although the potion was still working, it was no longer as painful as before. At this moment, the system voice sounded. Congratulations to the host, the body has been transformed by a large amount of pure energy, and the physical attributes have doubled. At the same time, due to the increase in physical fitness, strength has increased by 50 points, spirit has increased by 50 points, and agility has increased by 50 points. Due to the overall improvement of physical attributes, the host's 5-heart technique has broken through to the perfect level. It can no longer continue to practice independently. The effect of the technique is: starting from the next level, the attribute points obtained will be doubled for each level. The 9-level ice blade of the skill is promoted to the 5th level, and its power explodes 5 times. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it. A small bottle of potion brought Yejuju such a big improvement. Not only the increase in attribute points, but also the breakthrough in skills. This gave Yejuju another layer of confidence and protection when facing Li Yao's revenge in the future. Before he had time to clean his body, which was dirty due to the use of medicine, Yejuju clicked on the system to check. Name, Yejuju. Age, 16 years old. Occupation, mechanical hunter. Level, level 38, 30200/47,000. Property. Strength, 151. Stamina, 63. Intelligence, 40. Spirit, 128. Agility, 90. Speed, 179 meters/second. Energy, 16,600, 90 points/minute. Recovery rate. Professional talents and skills. 1 Advanced Combat Master. 2 Senior Mechanical Master. 3 Mental Power, Junior God of War level, can control 10 Blood Shadow flying knives. Pets, Mechanical 2-headed dragon, Tiamat, Mechanical 3-headed dog, Cerberus, Mecha Warrior, General. Practice skills, 5 hearts to the sky, passive skill, perfect level. From now on, every time the level increases, the attribute points obtained will be doubled. 9-layer ice sword, 5-layer -5 times the power. Mount, chasing the wind, Transformers. Special space, 10,000 square meters of machinery manufacturing space, some materials and sundries. Drawings, 0. Special permissions, 0. Note, there are 0 times left for the time travel function. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 423. What a surprise to him. His main attributes, strength and spirit, both exceeded the 100 mark. Although the system did not improve his mental power, it was enough. Think about it, if mental power is so easy to improve, why don't any of those mental masters who have been famous for many years surpass the God of War? After gathering his mood, Yejuju looked at the opportunity to transform the mechanical pet that was rewarded by the system. At a glance, Yejuju breathed a sigh of relief. The materials needed for transformation only required a few metals unique to this world. This is easy to do, but doesn't it just cost money? Yejuju has a lot of cash, which is the contribution points needed to purchase G-grade metal red mixed copper mother, and Yejuju has already met the requirements. There was nothing special about it. Yejuju immediately placed an order in the mobile mall based on the list of materials provided by the system. Good guy, if you don't buy it, you won't know that the metal needed to upgrade the mechanical pets is so expensive. In one go, he spent more than half of the nearly 40 billion in cash that Yejuju had saved, 23 billion. You know, this is the money Yejuju earned from killing monsters after he came to this world, plus the 10 billion that William gave away for free and the 20 billion from competition rewards. However, Yejuju didn't feel bad at all for spending so much money to transform the mechanical pets. After all, his profession is a mechanical hunter, and mechanical pets are his most loyal and reliable partners, right? Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. It's just that this way, I have to say sorry to Luo Feng. The promise to help him buy the dragon blood potion seems to have to wait until later. Fortunately, the metal required for this transformation was not much, otherwise Yejuju would not have dared to receive this batch of materials in Jiangnan Pavilion. By the time the purchased metal was delivered to Jiangnan Pavilion, it was already half an hour later. Luo Feng and the others were practicing, which made it easier for Yejuju to receive the supplies without attracting their attention. After seeing off the staff, Yejuju closed the door of the training room, put all the metals into the space, and immediately said to the system. System, I want to transform the mechanical pet. System. Good host. It is detected that the metal materials required for transformation are complete. Please put the mechanical pet that needs to be transformed into the space. The system will immediately transform the mechanical pet for the host. Hearing this, Yejuju only thought about it for a moment before sending Honglanyi and all 3 liquid robots needed for their union into the mechanical space. As soon as the 5 liquid robots entered the space, the system immediately took action. First, he sorted out the metal purchased by Yejuju and found enough metal materials to transform 5 liquid robots, and then started the transformation. There is nothing magical about the transformation process. It is to put the metal into a universal furnace and melt it into liquid metal. Then the system uses special means to fully integrate the liquid metal with the robot's body. Not long after, 5 brand new robots appeared in the space. Let's look at their current situation. Behind the combat power of red, blue, is clearly marked, Junior God of War level. The combat power of the 3 liquid metal robots is marked as, Advanced Warrior level. Without hesitation, he merged them into a mechanical 2-headed dragon with the following attributes. Mechanical 2-headed dragon, Tiamat, led by red and blue clothes, assisted by 3 liquid robots. Size, 20 meters. Weight, 10 tons. Combat strength level, intermediate God of War level. Attack methods, energy attack, fire breath, electromagnetic pulse cannon, physical attack, biting, grabbing, tail stab, auxiliary attack, a total of 4 small laser cannons on the wings. Flight speed, 700 meters/second. Not bad, the size has doubled, and the attack also includes electromagnetic pulse cannons and small laser-guided cannons, in terms of power. The electromagnetic pulse cannon can easily kill high-level Lord-level monsters instantly, and the small laser-guided cannon can also kill high-level beast-level monsters instantly. In this way, the red and blue clothes can at least fight against the war-level warriors and king-level monsters in this world, and they no longer have to be left in the pet space to eat dust. We continued our efforts and modified the remaining mechanical 3-headed dog, Cerberus, and then checked its attributes. Mechanical 3-headed dog, Cerberus, lead by wolf warriors, assisted by 4 wolves. Size, 20 meters. Weight, 11 tons. Combat level, intermediate God of War level. Speed, 680 meters/second. Attack methods, laser cannon, G-class alloy wolf claws, 6-tailed tail spines. After the transformation, not only the strength of Warwolf and the four wolves have been improved to varying degrees, but even the combined combat effectiveness is not inferior to that of the mechanical two-headed dragon. In this way, Yejuju has two more powerful helpers. Even if he is attacked by Li Yao now, Yejuju is sure to escape unscathed and even kill a few of them. The only regret is that the system's so-called opportunity to transform mechanical pets does not include the Mount Zui Feng and the Mecha Death Warrior. However, Yejuju couldn't help but secretly say, the system is so stingy. He didn't even think about how rare this opportunity was, and how the system could give him unlimited benefits. Satisfied, Yejuju took the transformed pet into the pet space, walked out of the training room, poured himself a glass of iced Coke at the bar in the living room, and drank it leisurely. Little did he know that someone was planning to deal with him. This person is none other than Li Yao and his wife and Candace, who was traumatized by him. As a member of the HR Alliance and the apparent helmsman of the Bolaños family, they naturally have their own channels of information. They have already obtained the details of the news that most of the instructors in the training camp did not know. Maybe Hong considered that he wanted to improve the combat experience of the students. As in the drama, the top 16 students who participated in the Supernova League this time were arranged to enter the most dangerous area, the South Australia Continent Trial. The purpose of doing this is also to allow the students to fight more advanced and more monsters. Just think about it, you will know that the groups of monsters that everyone encounters in normal times are just high-level beast general-level monsters. Lord-level monsters are solitary, and they only encounter one or two, so the students can naturally deal with them easily. But the South Australia continent is different, where Lord-level monsters can be seen everywhere, and there are many in groups. Being able to survive and kill monsters in such an environment, the strength after returning is naturally extraordinary. Besides, it is not uncommon to encounter a king-level monster during the trial. It is better to let them see the terrifying power of the king-level monster earlier, so that they will not be weak in the face of the king-level monster in the future city defense battle. Candace is currently on a video call with Vinana. Looking at the depressed Candace on the screen, Vinana cursed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuan-Chi. Chapter 424. Candace, cheer up. Are you still not a genius disciple of the Bolaños family? Just such a little setback defeated you. What's so great about that kid? You need to understand. Only the weak will hide and lick their wounds, while the strong will stand up wherever they fall. Candace, wouldn't it be enough to kill that boy with your uncle? Candace raised his head after hearing this, staring at Vanina's enlarged face on the screen with bright eyes, and said excitedly. Yes, Aunt, you are right. As long as I kill that kid, I can stand up again. Good. I will cooperate with my uncle and kill that kid in Nanao mainland. Amid Vanina's pleased smile, Candace turned off the phone, squeezed the phone tightly with her hands and said bitterly. Yejuju, don't blame me. Who told you to be better than me? You shouldn't have beaten me so hard during the game, you asked for it, huh? To be honest, Candace hates Yejuju so much that she even wants Yejuju to die. This is in line with the reality and logic. After all, he comes from a big family and grew up in a privileged environment. It is impossible to say that he does not have any pride and arrogance. Yejuju didn't give him face, even trampled on his dignity in front of everyone. It would be strange if he didn't hate Yejuju. And just like in the play, Candace obviously looked down on Luo Feng, and also tried to suppress Luo Feng and ridiculed Luo Feng many times, but in the end she let Luo Feng go and refused to cooperate with Li Yao to kill Luo Feng. This is a very unreasonable situation. Question. As for why this is, Yejuju is actually very puzzled, and he can only attribute it to the protagonist's luck. Only 3 days later, Yejuju and Luo Feng received notice from the training camp and were about to go to the South Australia mainland for trials. After hearing the news, Yejuju clenched his fists excitedly. You know, there are a lot of king-level monsters on the Nan-Ao continent. This is an opportunity for him to quickly improve his 9-level skates and he shouldn't miss it. Not to mention, there were rare things like the spirit of vegetation in the mysterious black mist area, and it was even more impossible for Yejuju to let them go. As for why Yejuju didn't go to Nan-Ao mainland alone to obtain the spirit of plants and trees. First of all, before he can gain spiritual power, it is useless if his strength does not reach the God of War level. He cannot defeat the 10,000 years willow tree spirit, and he cannot obtain the heart of plants and trees. Didn't you see that someone as strong as Luo Feng couldn't do anything with the 10,000-year-old willow tree essence? Secondly, he got the telekinesis power during the training camp. After getting the telekinesis power, he has been busy competing, so it was not until today that he had the opportunity to go to the South Australian continent and obtain the spirit of vegetation. On the day of departure, Yejuju and Luo Feng got on the same plane together and unexpectedly and reasonably saw Candace. Although Candace looked at Yejuju with a bit of dodge, Yejuju was still keenly aware of his hatred and murderous intention towards him. Seeing this, Yejuju couldn't help but snorted secretly. You kid, it's better not to think about doing anything to me, otherwise I won't mind killing you and your uncle together on the South Australia continent. The plane flew for several hours and crossed the vast sea to the mainland of South Australia. A group of students got off the plane. Familiar people started to form a team together, and Luo Feng not surprisingly wanted to team up with Yejuju. Yejuju was unwilling. He didn't want to be Luo Feng's nanny, let alone the benefits he would get if Luo Feng split her up. As for robbing the protagonist of his luck and benefits. Haha. As a time traveler, why should you leave the benefits to the protagonist? Wouldn't it be nice to take it yourself? Say it again. After all, in the play, Luo Feng reported the news about the spirit of plants and trees, allowing the Extreme Martial Arts Hall to obtain 11 willow hearts before receiving a reward of 15% of the total value. In the end, he got the Escape Sky Shuttle and the secret method of spiritual power cultivation, plus an S-level fighter. If he shared this with Luo Feng, how much would he have left? Seeing that Yejuju was not willing to form a team with him, Luo Feng suddenly felt disappointed. He thought that Yejuju no longer saw that his current strength was not as good as that of Yejuju, and was holding Yejuju back. So, Luo Feng lowered his head and said a little sadly. Okay, brother Yet. I won't go with you, so as not to drag you back. Hearing this, Yejuju knew that Luo Feng had misunderstood him and explained. What did you say? I did not mean that. Didn't I promise you that I would help you buy dragon blood potion? That's 80 billion in cash. How many monsters can we kill together? After separation, wouldn't it be possible to kill more monsters and get more cash? After listening to Yejuju's explanation, Luo Feng's frustrated mood suddenly improved a lot. He was even more touched by Yejuju's help, and nodded heavily and agreed. Candace, who was watching the two talking from a distance, stared at Yejuju with lucid eyes, wishing he could kill Yejuju now. Unfortunately, his strength is not as good as Yejuju, and there is nothing he can do against Yejuju. At this time, after seeing Yejuju and Luo Feng separated, he immediately answered Wenana's call and said, "And, those two boys have separated. I will follow that boy Yet. You ask uncle to wait for my news at any time." After speaking, Candace followed Yejuju from a distance while everyone dispersed and no one paid attention to him. As for why they didn't get Yejuju's bracelet communicator number through others like in the drama. That was because Yejuju knew in advance that they were going to deal with him in this way. When he was on the plane, he refused others' requests for his communication number. Seeing Yejuju like this, Luo Feng also refused the students who asked for his number. This made Candace, who originally wanted not to show up in person, very itchy. But she had no choice but to follow him in person in order to kill Yejuju. Candace's tracking was known to Yejuju at the very beginning. You should know that Yejuju is a very cautious person. He knows the danger here and Li Yao's hatred for him. After getting off the plane, when no one was paying attention, he released all the mechanical flies from the space, and Red Queen controlled them to monitor the situation within 5 kilometers around. Seeing Candace following him, Yejuju did not take action against him. He would kill him when he and Li Yao took action together. It was also a good opportunity to try out the strength of the newly upgraded mechanical pets. With Red Queen monitoring the surroundings, Yejuju quickly discovered a group of monsters. It was a group of powerful demon apes, all of which were Lord-level monsters, and one of them was a leader-level monster that was about to be promoted to the king level like the 9-headed dragon snake. From Red Queen, he knew that there were 7 powerful demon apes in this group. Yejuju estimated his own strength and felt that there was no problem in dealing with them. He walked towards the gathering place of powerful demon apes without hesitation. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 425. In front of him was a large valley, about 100 meters from the top of the mountain. 6 huge powerful demon apes were gathering together, eating a kangaroo beast that was unique to this place. Only the demon ape leader, whose body was covered with hard armor like lumps and rocks, was enjoying a kangaroo beast that was obviously much larger. The materials on the powerful demon apes were still valuable, and Yejuju prepared to kill them without hesitation. The sword he was using now was the Blood Shadow sword awarded as the first prize. 10 flying knives were suspended beside him, 6 of which were S-level Blood Shadow flying knives. Their hardness and sharpness could easily penetrate the body of a Lord-level monster. In addition, the armor on his body was his falcon armor. In fact, according to the rewards of the competition, he could get at most 2 Blood Shadow flying knives and a set of S-level armor. But he didn't want the S-level armor that was not very helpful to him, unless it was the Black God armor, which was almost the same, so he gave up the armor and asked for a few more Blood Shadow flying knives. Including the flying knives he had bought a long time ago, he had as many as 16 flying knives. But due to the limitation of mental strength, he could only control 10 at a time. In his opinion, he still had to rely on Luo Feng. Only by learning the training method of the controller from him could he break through the limit of controlling flying knives. After all, he was not sure that he could have Luo Feng's luck and get the recognition of the intelligent brain left by Hu Yanbo after entering the number 9 ruins. Even if his brain development was not inferior to Luo Feng, it would not work. Everything was ready. Yejuju jumped down from the valley. Yejuju's invasion was first discovered by the leader of the powerful demon ape. Looking up at Yejuju, who was falling quickly, it let out a deafening roar, waking up several demon apes, but did not take the initiative to attack Yejuju. In its view, Yejuju was just a junior warrior, and it didn't need to do anything. Several of its brothers could completely kill Yejuju. After the roar, the 6 Lord-level powerful demon apes all stopped eating, raised their heads and roared at Yejuju. Yejuju fell very fast, and just when he was about to fall into the mouths of several powerful demon apes, the thrusters suddenly opened, and with a whoosh sound, he flew past the mouth of a powerful demon ape that opened its mouth wide to swallow Yejuju. 10 telekinetic flying knives were launched at the same time, and the spiral knife ball gathered into the mouth of this powerful demon ape. It also drilled directly into its heart from the throat, and instantly crushed its heart into pieces. The powerful demon ape let out a shrill howl, and its huge body fell down, shaking the ground. The demon ape leader saw that his little brother was killed by Yejuju in a face-to-face encounter, and he stood up in anger and beat his chest and stamped his feet and roared. Then, the powerful demon ape squatted down, put his front legs on the ground and rushed towards Yejuju. Yejuju was suspended at a distance of about 50 meters from the ground, just enough for the powerful demon ape leader to reach out and grab. He was using the telekinetic flying knife to deal with the remaining 5 powerful demon apes. He noticed the whistling wind behind him, knowing that it was the demon ape leader who was attacking him, and hurriedly activated the thrusters to dodge the demon ape leader's grab. In this gap, another powerful demon ape was accidentally killed by Yejuju with a flying knife. At this point, there were only 5 demon apes left in the group. Ignoring the furious demon ape leader, Yejuju dodged the demon ape leader's pursuit while looking for opportunities to kill the remaining powerful demon apes. The intensity of the battle frightened Candace, who was hiding on the top of the mountain and peeking. To be honest, as a genius of the Bolaños family's generation, he could naturally kill monsters like the powerful demon ape. But it would not work if he fought 7 demon apes alone like Yejuju. Watching Yejuju flying in the air and killing a demon ape from time to time, he realized how huge the gap between him and Yejuju was. He also understood what others meant by saying that the actual combat power of a spiritualist warrior is 1 major level higher than that of an ordinary warrior. Not only did he have such an idea, but even Li Yao, who was sitting on the plain and watching the picture of Yejuju killing the demon ape sent by Candace, felt inexplicably irritated. To be honest, he had overestimated Yejuju's strength, otherwise why would he pay the god of war to help him surround and kill Yejuju? He even risked being punished and stole the city defense weapon laser cannon to kill Yejuju. But he didn't expect that Yejuju's spiritual master level would be so high. Needless to say, his eyesight was good, and he saw at a glance that Yejuju's warrior strength was already at the primary god of war level, and even the level of his spiritual master had reached the god of war level. This is a bit difficult. You must know that the biggest advantage of the spiritual master is that the means of attack are secretive and unpredictable, and the flying speed is much faster than that of ordinary god of war, even faster than him, a high-level god of war. If Yejuju wanted to escape, he might not be able to catch up with him. The only way is to surround him unexpectedly with the power of everyone, and then lock him with the laser cannon, so that there is a chance to kill Yejuju with 1 blow. Otherwise, once that guy finds out that something is wrong and runs away in advance, it will be difficult to catch up with him. I don't know if Vinana's process of finding a hacker to find the guy's phone number is going smoothly. Li Yao, who was thinking about something, had a horrible dark face. Even James, who was on good terms with him, did not dare to talk to him at this time. He did not dare, but it did not mean that Kitahara Tsuyoshi, who came from Fuzu, did not dare. As soon as he got on the plane, he found several large boxes on the plane. After asking the staff privately, although they did not say what they were, he was sensitive and guessed something. Considering the status of Li Yao and his wife in the Bolaños family and the alliance, it was not difficult to guess that the things in the box were probably laser cannons for city defense. This kind of thing, not to mention his country, is really scarce. First, there is a gap in technical resources, and it is a bit difficult to manufacture. Second, his country is all coastal, and to deal with monsters in the sea, this thing can play a big role and is very scarce. Since Li Yao can make one, he can definitely make more. Thinking of this, Bi Wangan came to Li Yao, bowed 90 degrees respectfully without saying anything, and said sincerely, "Mr. Li, can I exchange this commission for other rewards?" "Well, what do you mean?" Li Yao, who was already in a bad mood, heard this with a dark face and a deep voice. "It's like this, Mr. Li. You know, my country is surrounded by the sea, and there are groups of monsters in the sea, which are much more than monsters on land. And to defend against such monsters, laser cannons are the most powerful weapon. If Mr. Li allows, I would like to exchange the reward for the qualification to purchase this weapon. I wonder if Mr. Li is willing." Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanchi. Chapter 426. Hearing this, Li Yao not only became thoughtful. To be honest, even he couldn't get a powerful weapon like a laser cannon that easily. Not to mention, this is a strategic resource. Can this transaction be done as promised? But because of this incident, after killing Yejuju and Luo Feng, if Hong doesn't treat him anymore, then the gain will really outweigh the loss. Thinking of this, Li Yao said seriously to Kitahara Go. There is nothing I can do about it. If possible, after using this laser cannon, I might consider selling it to you. The implication is obvious. Whether you can buy this laser cannon depends on whether Kitahara Gang sells it hard or not. Kitahara Tsuyoshi could not understand the meaning of Li Yao's words. Hearing this, although he was not satisfied with the transaction authority of only one laser cannon, it was better than nothing, so he simply said, "Okay, Li Sang, everything depends on my actions. I will definitely help you kill your enemies to prove our friendship." While they were talking, Yejuju had already killed all the younger brothers of the demon ape leader, leaving only the demon ape leader chasing Yejuju flying in the air while roaring crazily and incompetently. Only the demon ape leader was left, and Yejuju had no intention of using the telekinetic flying knife. He wanted to experiment and prepare to use the 9-layer ice blade to compete with the demon ape leader to see if he could improve his sword skills. By the way, naturally, they were waiting for Li Yao and his men to arrive so that they could solve this problem at once. Seeing Yejuju giving up his telekinesis and flying knives, but engaging in close combat with the demon ape leader, Candace curled his lips in disdain and secretly laughed at Yejuju for being so stupid. There is obviously an easier way to kill the leader of the demon ape, so it is really stupid to choose a close combat at the expense of the near. Suspended in the air, Yejuju held the blood shadow sword in his hand, waiting for the leader of the demon ape to rush in front of him. The next moment, the leader of the demon ape rushed under Yejuju, raised his huge claws and struck at Yejuju in the air. The huge hand grabbed Yejuju's body with a whistling sound in the air, and it seemed to be slow but fast. Facing the claws of the demon ape leader, Yejuju slashed out with his sword. The blade contained the power of ice. When the 9-layered ice blade was used, white snowflakes and ice flakes were splashed in the air, and they slashed hard at the giant claw swung by the leader of the demon ape. With a muffled sound of bang, the sword and the giant claw collided together, and sparks flew out. This shows how hard the demon ape leader's claws are. Neither of them benefited, and they were knocked back by the force anyway. Go down. Yejuju retreated a few meters and used the reaction force of the propeller to stabilize his body. The next moment, he accelerated like lightning and rushed towards the retreating demon ape leader. Ice exploded from the sword in his hand, and the sharp ice tip shone brightly in the sun. With a woo sound, Yejuju flew in front of the leader of the demon ape and slashed hard at its neck with a knife. What a demon ape leader, he is worthy of being a monster that has grown up in battles. Even though his body was unstable, he still raised his hand to block the blade when it was about to hit his neck. This sword leaf has exploded with all its strength for a long time. It has a power of more than 30,000 kilograms. Under the explosion of the 9-layer ice blade, it has reached a power of 150,000 kilograms. Even the arm of the demon ape leader, which was covered with rock-hard carapace, had a lot of rock carapace fragments cut off with a single blow. Immediately afterwards, Yejuju ignored the beast and slashed out one after another in a series, each one with a force of 150,000 kilograms. The demon ape leader, who was forced to stop and stand still, had to raise his arms again and again to resist Yejuju's slashes. As a result, the leader of the demon ape was completely passive, and it was impossible to fight back. Coupled with Yejuju's continuous slashes, the rock carapace on its arms was reduced again and again, and it looked like this. The rock carapace will be peeled off by Yejuju like an apple. After all the muscles on the arm are exposed, Yejuju will definitely cut off the arm with a knife. The demon ape leader became furious, his retreating body suddenly stopped, he crossed his arms in front of him, his chest contracted violently, and he took a deep breath. Taking advantage of Yejuju slash, the demon ape leader suddenly opened his hands and spread his back, took a step with his right leg, stretched his head out to look into the air, opened his mouth and sprayed out a white energy beam, hitting Yejuju in the air. Yejuju had a sense of danger and sensed the danger in advance. The moment the light beam approached, the propeller exploded and flew sideways with a buzz. Before the energy beam of the demon ape leader was exhausted, he chased after Yejuju and continued to bombard him. Fortunately, with the blessing of the battle armor, Yejuju's speed far exceeded that of the ordinary god of war, and could not be caught up by the energy beam of the demon ape leader. After the light beam lasted for more than 10 seconds, it could no longer continue and finally disappeared completely. Yejuju also launched his ultimate move, hovering 30 meters away from the leader of the demon ape. Yejuju fiercely activated the ice power of energy conversion in his body, and mentally communicated with the water element in the sky. Sensing the presence of the water element in the sky, the next second the ice power in Yejuju's body surged out from the blade. The 9-layer ice blade and the explosion of ice power slashed out towards the demon ape leader in the air. There was a rapid click sound, and a large piece of white ice burst out from his sword. It was as fast as lightning, freezing all the air between people and animals into ice, and attacking the demons on the ground. Ape leader Candace, who was watching the battle on the top of the mountain, was so excited. He really didn't expect that Yejuju had such a powerful ice ability. He had heard from his predecessors that only Hong's close guard Bingshan could exert such a powerful ice power. But Yejuju exerted it, which made Candace feel terrified. He knew that compared with ordinary warriors, warriors with elemental abilities and mental power were generally one level higher than ordinary warriors. What's more, Yejuju was a warrior with both ice abilities and mental power. Thinking of this, Candace shuddered. He also became more determined to get rid of Yejuju before he grew up completely. Otherwise, he could imagine how he would live under the shadow of Yejuju in the future. When he looked at the battlefield of the man and the beast again, the huge demon ape leader had been frozen in place. The power of the ice was also extremely strong. Even with the strength of the demon ape leader, who was at the high level of a lord, he was unable to break free from the ice and was trapped in the same place, unable to move or struggle. Candace was very glad at this time, glad that she had followed and saw Yejuju use his ice ability and mental power with her own eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanchi. Chapter 427. In order to successfully kill Yejuju, the next second, Candace passed the video of Yejuju using the power of ice to freeze the leader of the demon ape to Li Yao, so that Li Yao would be mentally prepared when killing Yejuju and would not suffer losses from Yejuju. He didn't know that his so-called tracking had been discovered by Yejuju. The reason why he used the power of ice in front of Candace was that Li Yao had already known that he was an ice warrior and didn't need to hide. Secondly, it was rare to encounter a monster that was about to break through to the king level. He hoped that after killing it, the 9-layer ice blade would have a breakthrough. Seeing the demon ape leader being frozen, Yejuju floated above the demon ape's head, holding the sword with both hands, and the ice power in his body was frantically urged. A few seconds later, it was visible to the naked eye that a large number of countless ice arrows condensed in front of Yejuju's body. The next second, Yejuju slashed at the frozen demon ape leader with a slash of his sword. A white icy sword energy with a sky full of ice arrows shot towards the demon ape leader. The demon ape leader, who was frozen in the ice, had his eyes wide open with fear. The next second, the sword energy and ice arrows bombarded the demon ape leader together. The sound of boom 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 continued to blast, and the ice arrows shot into the frozen demon ape, causing a sky full of broken ice chips to block the view. The demon ape leader's miserable howling was mixed in, and the howling stopped only after all the ice arrows were shot. When the ice chips in the sky dissipated, the demon ape leader was seen lying on the ground with blood holes all over his body and blood all over the ground. Yejuju flew into the body of the demon ape leader with regret, and while collecting the materials on it, he thought, "Hey. It seems. If you want to quickly improve the realm of the 9-layer ice blade, you can only fight with king-level monsters." Yejuju killed a lord-level demon ape tribe so casually, but Candace was shocked. He was really scared by Yejuju's move. If you think about it from another perspective, let alone the lord-level demon ape leader, even if it were him, he would definitely die. Thinking of this, Candace thought very depressedly. Why did God let Yejuju become his enemy? A teenager who is only in his teens, not even to the point of surpassing the god of war, has such a terrifying strength. Once he grows up and becomes a being that surpasses the god of war, how terrifying will he be? I'm afraid he will be another terrifying strong man like Hong and Thunder God. Li Yao also saw the scene of Yejuju killing the demon ape leader. Although there was no change on his face, his heart was extremely uneasy. He was secretly thankful for his own caution, and did not underestimate Yejuju just because his strength was only at the primary level of God of War. He really did not expect that Yejuju would grow to such a level in such a short time. It was only a little over a year. From a warrior apprentice, he grew to the level of a primary God of War. He also possessed the potential of ice power and mental power. If he was really a little careless, not only would he not be able to kill Yejuju, but Yejuju would also escape, and it would be unlikely for him to kill Yejuju in the future. He was even more thankful that Candace personally followed Yejuju and discovered the hidden means of this kid, otherwise how could he have the opportunity to take precautions in advance? Otherwise, if he was not careful at that time, he would be fine. No matter how powerful Yejuju's means were, he had the Black God suit, and Yejuju could not kill him. But the few people who followed him were not sure, and they might all die in Yejuju's hands. Thinking of this, Li Yao silently planned in his mind how to kill Yejuju without any mistakes. Of course, the most fortunate thing is that he stole the laser cannon. As long as he can be given the opportunity to aim and lock Yejuju, then, no matter how powerful Yejuju's means are, he will definitely die. He didn't expect that his so-called early discovery of Yejuju's means was actually what Yejuju wanted him to see. Not to mention that Biwen Gang coveted the laser cannon, even isn't he also coveting the laser cannon? The power of this thing is not only in this world, but also in the Marvel world. It is an extremely powerful weapon. As long as it can be taken back, when Thanos comes, it will not only kill Thanos with one shot. As for his interstellar fleet, it is not a matter of firing a few shots at him. Of course, just a laser cannon is not enough to face the densely packed countless interstellar battleships. But don't forget, there are still him, Tony and Wakanda. I don't believe it, the three parties can't imitate this weapon? Yejuju slowly cleaned up the battlefield and waited for Li Yao and his team to arrive. As expected by Yejuju, Li Yao and his team came very quickly. Although Li Yao cleverly parked the fighter plane 5 kilometers away, their arrival was still monitored by Red Queen. Li Yao's calculation was very simple. He moved the laser cannon to the top of the mountain and placed it. They went down to the valley and used the terrain there to surround and kill Yejuju there. In this way, even if Yejuju found a chance to escape in the end, he would be locked by the laser cannon and blasted into ashes by the last shot. But unfortunately, all his actions were under the surveillance of Red Queen. From the beginning to the end, Yejuju never thought about escaping. As long as he killed Li Yao and a few people, he could avoid future troubles. Then wouldn't the laser cannon be in his pocket? After lingering in the valley for about 10 minutes, Li Yao finally led a few people down to the valley. Looking at Li Yao, who was wearing S-level blood shadow armor and walking in front of everyone. Yejuju looked at the few people with a leisurely look. He held the sword in his hand and smiled as he watched the few people come forward. When Li Yao saw Yejuju looking so confident, his heart trembled. He frowned and looked around, for fear that Yejuju might have some powerful backup plan. He didn't find any danger for a long time, and then he breathed a sigh of relief, but he secretly became more vigilant. While walking slowly towards Yejuju, James and others behind him silently spread out in a fan shape, forming a vague encirclement situation, ensuring that Yejuju could not escape the encirclement and killing of several people. Li Yao stared at Yejuju with extremely sinister eyes, which even started to become bloodshot. Li Yao said bitterly a few dozen meters away from Yejuju. "Why did you kill my son? Are you really not afraid of the revenge of a senior god of war and the HR Alliance family forces?" "Laugh." Yejuju sneered disdainfully and said. "TCH. What's so great about a high-level war god? Am I not also the god of war? He became the god of war faster than you so-called elites. What do I have to fear? HR Alliance. You just used words to scare me. For a loser, will the HR Alliance come forward to deal with me? Hee hee. You take Li Yao too seriously." Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 428. After saying that, Yejuju's voice became cold, and he glanced at the people who were about to surround him, and said coldly. "Okay. Everyone is here. Then I won't be polite." After saying that, Li Yao and others were shocked to find that, just as Yejuju waved his hand, a large group of people and beasts suddenly appeared in front of him. When he was shocked at how Yejuju could summon helpers out of thin air, he found that these people and beasts that appeared were just some mechanical creatures. Li Yao couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and thought to himself. They are just some robots with strength at the level of war generals. It's just a matter of a knife and a sword to destroy them. But at this moment, he suddenly saw a scene that shocked him even more. Because just when he was about to give the order to James and others to take action, right in front of him, the 10 robots and beasts suddenly merged together and turned into 2 huge mechanical creatures. Yes. They were mechanical creatures, a 2-headed mechanical dragon with 2 heads, and a 3-headed mechanical giant dog. What shocked him the most was that the mechanical creatures, which were obviously warriors, turned into war gods after merging. What a shocking thing this is. You should know that although the technology in this world is advanced, there are also many artificial robots, and there are even robots that can compete with human strongmen. But there has never been such a technology that can make mechanical creatures merge and transform into war gods. The next moment, Li Yao's eyes flashed with greed. Yes. He was moved, and at this moment he even lost the thought of killing Yejuju, but wanted to capture him alive. Get this technology that can combine mechanical creatures from Yejuju, so that he doesn't have to rely on the Polinas family anymore, and he can even establish a family by himself. A family with combined war god mechanical creatures as the main combat force. You can imagine how powerful such a family will be. As for sons, although the higher the level of warriors, the more difficult it is to give birth, but if you can pay a price that ordinary people can't imagine, it is not impossible to give birth to children. Since he had the hope of establishing a family and having children, Li Yao would naturally choose the most favorable result. Thinking of this, Li Yao could not help but shout. "Pay attention, don't kill that guy, I want to catch him alive. Leave that guy to me, you guys work together to kill those 2 mechanical creatures first, do it." As soon as the voice fell, Li Yao took the lead and took out 2 S-level long swords, and rushed towards Yejuju fiercely. Facing the attack of a high-level war god, Yejuju was not afraid, just when Li Yao was about to rush in front of him. Yejuju raised his hand and slashed with a 9-layer ice knife, and the knife energy with ice chips attacked Li Yao like a wave. Li Yao laughed, raised his hand and slashed with the sword while running, effortlessly blocking the knife energy, and continued to rush towards Yejuju without stopping. Behind him, the two-headed mechanical dragon Tiamat and the three-headed mechanical giant dog Cerberus, one in the sky and one on the ground, rushed towards James and others. Facing the attack of the two mechanical creatures, the remaining James and Isaac, Kitahara gang, and the members of James' team plus Candace did not dare to be careless at all, and divided into two groups to fight against the two mechanical pets. And Yejuju's technology of summoning mechanical combined creatures was not only coveted by Li Yao, but also by these people. Among them, Kitahara gang was the most outstanding. How to say it? This is the bad nature of any parallel world, that country and nation. They can't bear to see others have something better than them, and once they find it, they want to take it for themselves. Of course. There is also a premise for this, that is, the opponent's strength must be lower than theirs. Otherwise, he will be so humble as when facing Li Yao instead of grabbing it. Unfortunately, several people seem to have underestimated the combat effectiveness of the two mechanical creatures. I won't talk about Tiamat, who is mainly dressed in red and blue, although her combat power in the original world is just so-so. But after following Yejuju, the master, with the help of the system and the Queen of Red to instill combat skills, and after upgrading and updating, their actual combat power is not much different from that of the master Yejuju. Not to mention the two werewolves, they are mechanical pets created by Yejuju through the system, and their combat skills are inherited from Yejuju, so they are still very good at fighting with several war god level warriors. Let's not talk about the battle here. Yejuju has already fought with Li Yao. It must be said that the Black God armor is worthy of being the armor that Yejuju is jealous of, and its defense power even exceeds the Falcon armor on Yejuju. No matter how good Yejuju's combat skills are, if he can't break the defense, he can't do anything to Li Yao. After fighting with Yejuju for dozens of moves, Li Yao was also afraid. If he hadn't been wearing the Black God armor, he might have been injured by Yejuju, or even died. This can be seen from the fact that Yejuju's sword slashed his neck and chest several times, which shows that his fighting skills are not as good as Yejuju's. Seeing that pure skills could not do anything to Li Yao, Yejuju used three methods at the same time, using the power of ice and mental power. For a while, the cold wind whistled and ice flew around him and Li Yao, and the temperature dropped to a terrifying level. Every time the two men's weapons collided, a shock wave would form, raising the mountains near them to the ground. It can be seen. How destructive is the God of War level warrior? Not to mention, during the battle, Yejuju's icy energy would freeze the air around the two men into frost, and the temperature accumulated over and over again was so low that ordinary thermometers could not measure it. This is also because Li Yao himself is a high-level God of War, and his physical fitness is already superhuman. In addition, he has the Black God armor on his body, which can resist abnormal temperatures, otherwise he would have been frozen to death by this terrifying low temperature. Not to mention mental power, it can be described as unpredictable, and it is not an exaggeration. The flying knife controlled by Yejuju's mental power is very insidious. Other people's flying knives may be behind, beside, and other visible places. A powerful warrior can always predict the trajectory of the flying knife. But Yejuju's flying knife is either hidden behind his buttocks or hidden under his feet. Ready to take advantage of the loopholes in Li Yao's offense and defense, and shoot out with a swoosh sound to attack Li Yao. Although the flying knife cannot break the Black God armor on Li Yao due to the material, but the mental power attached to it can play the role of hitting the bull from a distance and hurt Li Yao's spirit. As we all know, the spirit of a warrior is very important, whether he is a mentalist or not. Once the spirit is traumatized, it is not so easy. This is not Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanchi. Chapter 429. During the fight, although Li Yao's face was covered by the helmet of the Black God armor, His cheek inside the helmet twitched from time to time, showing that he was in great pain. Li Yao was extremely depressed at this time. He had a strong fighting power and invincible defense. His strength and speed were obviously faster than Yejuju, but he could not do anything to Yejuju. Let alone capturing Yejuju alive, it was impossible to hurt Yejuju even if he wanted to fight. At this moment, he understood the helplessness of his cheap nephew when facing Yejuju. Because he couldn't beat his opponent. This was the most frustrating fight he had ever had since he became a warrior. In the past, he would not feel such a sense of defeat even when facing a stronger enemy. But today, Yejuju made him feel completely frustrated. He was like this, and so were those gods of war. Although the opponents were only two mechanical creatures, they could not be killed even with the combined strength of several people. Isn't that infuriating? And the two mechanical creatures had received Yejuju's order long before they went into battle. They didn't seek to kill the enemy, but just to hold them back. Although the strength of the two combined pets had reached the level of war gods, and they had the advantage of hard materials. But those people were war gods anyway. What if there was any extraordinary backhand, or if they self-destructed before dying, the two mechanical pets would be severely damaged even if they were not destroyed. So, if you can attack from a distance, try to attack from a distance, reduce the chance of close combat, and hold them back. In this way, several people were a little depressed. Are the energy attacks of the two mechanical pets so easy to deal with? Although the power of their laser cannons and electromagnetic pulses is not as powerful as that of laser cannons, even if the war gods are hit, they will be uncomfortable if they are not injured. What the people in the battle didn't know was that not far from here, Luo Feng killed a primary lord-level monster and was harvesting materials. The noise of the battle between the people was too loud. It didn't sound like the noise made by warriors fighting monsters at all. Instead, it was more like a battle between warriors. In fact, as early as when Yejuju killed the group of demon apes, Luo Feng heard the noise and guessed that it might be Yejuju killing monsters over there. Otherwise, how could there be such a big noise? This is not difficult to guess, because among the trainees in the training camp, only Yejuju's strength can make earth-shaking noises in battle. He actually wanted to go and see it a long time ago, but he remembered Yejuju's instructions and suppressed his curiosity, so he didn't go to check. But this time is different. Obviously there are warriors fighting there. Luo Feng just thought about it for a while and thought that someone might be fighting against his brother yet. How can this be? Not to mention that Yejuju has long been his elder brother, just to say that Yejuju tried hard to kill monsters in order to help him buy dragon blood potion, he couldn't help but go and see if he could help. With an idea, Luo Feng packed up the materials in a few seconds and flew to the place where the battle took place on his shield. Yejuju and Li Yao were fighting more and more easily at this time, because he had already figured out Li Yao's fighting style. Anyway, although Li Yao is a high-level war god, his fighting skills are not comparable to Yejuju, a high-level combat master, and even Zhang Fang. In the battle, he just relied on his brute force, speed, and a set of black mountain armor as a high-level war god. And once Yejuju figured out his attack routine, it would naturally become easier and easier to deal with it. On the other side, James and others were also overwhelmed by the two mechanical pets. Originally, they thought, if they can't get in, then they can't get in. It's okay to use up the energy of the two mechanical creatures. Without energy attacks, it's easy to destroy the two mechanical creatures. But who would have thought that the energy of these two mechanical pets seemed endless? The dense energy shells were faster and denser than the city defense weapons, and it seemed that they could never be used up. They didn't know that the energy of these two combined mechanical pets would not be so easy to use up in a short time. Not to mention that each of them has a small arc reactor, and they also have the fire source from the Transformers world in their bodies. And the magic of the fire source, there is no need to say more. Anyway, Yejeju has never seen any transformer being killed in battle because of energy consumption. Among the few people, Kitahara Gang and Isaac Shen did not use their full strength, but kept an eye on the battle between Li Yao and Yejeju. One of the two wanted to perform in front of Li Yao and get more benefits. The other wanted to catch Yejeju from Li Yao and get Yejeju's mechanical combination technology. Naturally, neither of them used their special moves, and they both wanted to get everything they wanted at the critical moment. At this moment, the two saw Li Yao, who was wearing the black god armor, being forced back step by Yejeju. Seeing this, both knew that their chance to attack had come. First, Isaac relied on his advantage of long arms, abandoned his comrades and rushed to the battlefield of Yejeju and the others. The reason why he was said to have long arms was naturally because he was best at bombs. And he was an assassin warrior, so speed was naturally his strong point, even surpassing the two mechanical pets. In just a blink of an eye, Isaac Shen rushed past Cerberus who was dealing with the others, and in the blink of an eye he rushed to the battlefield not far from Yejeju and the other person. Li Yao, who was forced to retreat continuously by Yejeju's continuous swordsmanship, suddenly heard Isaac Shen's shout. "Mr. Li Yao, I'm here to help you." Before the voice disappeared, countless black spots flew towards the battlefield of the two. Yejeju, who was in the battle, naturally noticed the arrival of Isaac Shen, and knew what his killer move was. Hearing the shout, he was ready. He instantly took back 4 of the telekinetic flying knives, leaving only 6 S-level blood shadow flying knives floating around him. He also pushed the telekinesis and ice power to the extreme, forming 2 barriers around him. The next second, the black spot fell between the two people, followed by a series of explosions of boom boom. Several small mushroom clouds formed on the spot and rose into the air. Although the bomb he threw was very small, the explosion was indeed very powerful. Even though Yejeju had set up 2 barriers around him in advance, the barrier formed by ice was still broken by the power of the explosion. Even the mental barrier set up by Yejeju was almost blown through and injured himself. This also made Yejeju marvel at the strength of some unconventional warriors. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuan-Chi. Chapter 430. Even though Isaac is no more than a junior god of war, his ability to make bombs is truly the most powerful in the world. Dare to attack Yejeju, this kind of enemy cannot be left behind. Yejeju will not show mercy at all. Just when Isaac was so proud that his wave of bombs would kill Yejeju. Without noticing, several streaks of light suddenly flew out from the sky full of gunpowder smoke and broken ice. The speed of the stream of light was extremely fast, so fast that Li Yao could only see an afterimage passing in front of his eyes. Not to mention Isaac Shen, who is only a junior god of war. Just when he was feeling proud, he suddenly saw a dark shadow appear in front of his eyes. Bad thoughts had just arisen, and before he had time to react, he felt a sharp pain in his throat and chest. Unconfidently, he looked down at his chest and felt something pressing against his throat. He lowered his head and raised his hand to touch it. Only then did he realize that there were 2 small flying knives stuck in his throat, and naturally he also touched the 2 flying knives stuck on the left and right sides of his chest. Isaac felt that all the strength in his body was rapidly draining away, and then his body fell softly to the ground. Touching the unique S-level metal texture of the flying knife in his hand, Isaac couldn't help but think. Is this a flying knife made of S-level materials? Sure enough, it feels really comfortable to touch. This was the last thought in Isaac's mind. Maybe he deserved his death if he died under such a level of weapon. Seeing Isaac dying under Yejeju's flying knife, even though Li Yao's heart was ruthless, he couldn't help but twitch violently. He was glad that he had the ability and luck to get a black god armor, otherwise Isaac Shen would not be the only one who died under Yejiju's hands today, and probably himself. Bihara was just a step late, and the moment Isaac fell to the ground, he also rushed over. He had no sympathy for Isaac Shen's death. In his opinion, if you don't have the strength to show off, you will die sooner or later. Unlike him, he is one of the most powerful war gods in Fuzhou, and he also has his own unique tricks. He believed that there were countless warriors who died under his attack. Yejiju is no exception. Even if Yejiju has two special abilities, elemental ability and mental power, it's still the same. Rushing forward, Biwen Gang said unceremoniously. Li Sang, please hand over this enemy to me. I will catch him alive. After saying that, Bihara bent down and rushed towards Yejiju. A samurai sword that was much larger than an ordinary samurai sword was pinned to his left waist. While rushing towards Yejiju, he held down the scabbard of the katana with his left hand and held the handle of the sword with his right hand. His eyes were as sharp as an eagle's eye staring at Yejiju, in order to predict Yejiju's next move so that he could use his knife to injure Yejiju. Yes. Injure, not kill. He has that confidence. The confidence comes from his other unique skill, drawing the sword and slashing. This kind of sword technique that Fuzhou was famous for before the Great Nirvana era was another of his special skills. Different from the previous sword drawing slash, the sword drawing slash integrated with the warrior's original power is faster, more powerful, and more powerful. Close. 5 meters away, Kitahara just screamed ah, a kang kang sound was heard, and a bright and dazzling sword light suddenly appeared. Kitahara Gang and Yejiju passed by each other. Kitahara Gang continued to rush forward for more than 10 meters due to inertia before he stopped. When Kitahara stopped, he didn't do his usual action and kept thrusting the knife forward. Instead, he quickly put away the sword, turned around sharply, held the handle of the sword with both hands, stood the katana upright in front of him, and shouted again. Super Shadow Clone Technique, appear. As soon as the sound fell, Bihara Gang's figure suddenly disappeared from the place. Then, Kitahara Tsuyoshi's figure began to appear from all directions. What's amazing is that each of these figures is doing different actions, surrounding Yejiju. Before Yejiju could tell which one was Bidaharago's true body, all the shadow clones started to move. They rushed towards Yejiju from all directions, and the samurai swords they brandished were shining brightly, which looked very intimidating. Yejiju didn't dare to underestimate these shadow clones. In the original drama, these shadow clones all had real attack power. If someone is careless and gets slashed by these shadow clones, it is uncertain whether they will be injured or not. At this moment, Yejiju also moved. The falcon armor activated at high speed, and Yejiju's figure left traces of afterimages in the air like lightning, and he quickly killed these shadow clones. The frost-like white sword light, which was different from Biwen's newly shining sword, brought up fine ice and snow particles, and drew intertwined knife nets within a radius of 30 meters. It took a while to dissipate. Don't get me wrong, this is not because Yejiju's sword has such power, but because the speed of the sword is too fast. Before the gleam of the previous knife dissipated, the gleam of the latter knife appeared again. In this way, Yejiju slashed dozens of knives in 1 or 2 seconds, creating such a spectacular scene. Seeing this scene, Li Yao, who was watching from the side, felt a sense of fear in his heart. He thought he couldn't do what Yejiju did, slashing dozens of knives in 1 or 2 seconds. He even put himself in Yejiju's shoes and thought about whether he could block it if he faced Yejiju's move. The answer is, of course, no. If he hadn't been protected by the Black God armor, he would have definitely died from this move. You know, he doesn't have a shadow clone like Kitahara Tsuyoshi, who can hide his real body in the clone. Kitahara Tsuyoshi, who was hiding in the air at this time, was also shocked. Although his shadow clone has attack power, in fact, the attack power is insignificant for a war god level strongman, and it can be blocked by just resisting. In fact, If you think about it a little, you can understand that even if the shadow clone has a certain attack power, it can't be too high. To put it simply, it's like he divided his strength into several parts, so the attack power of each clone can be known in advance. And all powerful moves have their drawbacks. And his shadow clone is naturally no exception. Under the premise of being powerful enough to seduce opponents and hide himself, insufficient attack power is his drawback. Otherwise, if he uses this move, a war god will be easily killed by him. What shocked him was that his shadow clone dissipated too quickly. And he wanted to use this move again to deal with Yejuju, but it was impossible in a short time. Because this move consumes a lot of force. Once it is used, most of the force in the body is consumed. Even normal combat will be reduced. If he wants to use it again, he is dreaming. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanchi. Chapter 431. At this moment, Yejuju discovered the real body of Kitahara Gang. He gave up the clone in front of him without hesitation, and rushed to Kitahara Gang in a flash. It was not that Yejuju saw where Kitahara Gang was with his own eyes, but the effect of mental power made him discover the breadth of Kitahara Gang. Locking him, Yejuju rushed to Kitahara Gang's real body in the next second, and slashed it out with a 9-layer ice knife without hesitation. Google searched Ken. Although Yejuju's knife seemed to be slashing at the air, that was where Kitahara Gang's real body was. Kitahara Gang was hiding in the air and was also shocked at this time. He didn't understand how Yejuju found him. Originally, he was thinking that while the clones were besieging Yejuju, he would find an opportunity to sneak attack Yejuju and injure Yejuju. Unexpectedly, he became Yejuju's target. In a hurry, Kitahara Gang no longer cared about hiding his figure, and quickly showed his true form and held the samurai sword horizontally in front of him, trying to block Yejuju's slash. Dang, sizzle. Although he blocked the knife, he didn't expect it. Yejuju's knife was just a cover, and it was just to distract Kitahara Gang's attention. It would be good if he could kill Kitahara Gang, but if he couldn't kill him, it just covered his flying knife. The result was naturally as Yejuju planned. Kitahara Gang blocked Yejuju's slash and was about to counterattack. But he didn't expect Yejuju's telekinetic flying knife to suddenly jump out from under the feet of the two people, almost sticking to the gap between the two people's bodies, and pierced into Kitahara Gang's throat. Kitahara Gang made a sound of looked at Yejuju in disbelief, and then looked down at the flying knife piercing his throat. The blood in his mouth gushed out like money, and the samurai sword in his hand could no longer be held, and fell to the ground with a clang. He staggered back a few steps, and his body softened and knelt on the ground with a bang. Yejuju moved his mind, and the flying knife flew back behind him and floated. Turning around, Yejuju looked at Li Yao. Li Yao's mood was extremely complicated, and it was really too sad. One of the most powerful war gods in Fuzu died under 2 flying knives, which was really unjust. This is a long story, but it was only a few minutes. When Luo Feng arrived at the battlefield, he saw Yejuju using flying knives to kill 2 war god level strongmen, Isaac Shen and Kitahara Gang. When he saw the few people fighting against the 2 mechanical beasts, Luo Feng instantly understood that these people were his brother Ye's enemies. Although he still didn't understand where brother Ye got these 2 mechanical beasts that looked very powerful, it didn't prevent him from treating Yejuju's enemies as his own enemies. In order to prevent Yejuju from misunderstanding, Luo Feng shouted loudly from a distance. "Brother Ye, I'm here to help you." After that, Luo Feng stepped on the shield and flew into the battlefield, joining the battlefield with a sword and a flying knife. With the addition of Luo Feng, James, and others, who were already in a difficult situation, became even worse. Because of the absence of Isaac Shen and Kitahara Gang, it was already difficult to deal with 2 mechanical beasts. With the addition of Luo Feng, who was also a strong supporter of the spiritualist, it was only a matter of time before several people were defeated. Hearing Luo Feng's shout, Yejuju shook his head speechlessly, and then extinguished the unhappiness that suddenly rose in his heart. It only took a moment. Yejuju figured it out. After all, Luo Feng was the protagonist of this world. He would have a chance to get what he deserved even if he intervened. Even if Luo Feng didn't come at this time, he would have accidentally entered the fog island. Only Li Yao was left in front of him, and Yejuju was a little troubled. The main headache was Li Yao's Black God armor. That thing really couldn't break the defense. How to deal with him? Of course, there was also the laser cannon that he coveted, and he had to deal with it at this time. Otherwise, once something unexpected happened, all his calculations would be in vain. For example, like in the play, several instructors from the training camp came and took away the laser cannon. Thinking of this, Yejuju released Zhufeng from the mount space. Of course, Zhufeng's appearance was not so exaggerated. He looked like a transformer as soon as he came out. Although Li Yao was surprised again, he could see at a glance that Zhufeng's strength was only at the level of a general, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Before he was ready to face Yejuju and a robot, he saw that Zhufeng had no intention of surrounding him with Yejuju. After letting him pass, he ran away quickly. Before he realized that Yejuju released Zhufeng just to snatch the laser cannon, Li Yao had to concentrate on dealing with Yejuju's crazy attack. Yejuju's plan was very simple. He must not let Li Yao have the opportunity to react, rescue or release the laser cannon regardless of everything. Otherwise, if this old guy comes to burn everything together, it will really not be good. After all, Yejuju does not have the confidence to face a laser cannon head-on. Zhufeng's speed is very fast. It took him just over a minute to rush to the preset position of the laser cannon. In fact, there are quite a lot of people left here, but these warriors who are not even generals are no match for Zhufeng, who moves as fast as the wind. After just one encounter, the guards who discovered Zhufeng's invasion were chopped down by Zhufeng. When the stunned staff reacted, the remaining guards were almost dead. The old man in charge of commanding the laser cannon only remembered to inform Li Yao that someone attacked the laser cannon position at this time, and hurriedly dialed Li Yao's communication. When Li Yao knew that his laser cannon position was attacked, he remembered that the robot released by Yejuju before was actually for the laser cannon. While cursing Yejuju's cunning in his heart, Li Yao wanted to get rid of Yejuju and go back to rescue the laser cannon position. Unfortunately, Yejuju's goal was the laser cannon, so he would never let him get what he wanted. So, Yejuju used super fast speed and dense knife skills to tightly entangle Li Yao, making him unable to get away. Seeing that he couldn't get away, Li Yao suddenly became angry and angrily questioned Yejuju. Yejuju, do you really want to be an enemy of my Bolaños family? Tisk. You are so arrogant. I am just surprised. It was obviously from your Bolaños family from the beginning, constantly looking for trouble with me. When did it become me looking for trouble with you? And speaking of this, Yejuju's tone became joking and said, don't take yourself too seriously. You are just a son-in-law of the Bolaños family. Don't put the Bolaños family together with you. Do you understand?